Thank you very much, Alex. Astralis will start on the CT side of Overpass. Na'Vi will be the aggressors. Can they take it to map number 3? We will very soon find out. Edward and Zeus picking up grenades for the T side. All Kevlar for Astralis. A confident start for the CT stat.
Yes, absolutely. They want to fight. It's not going to go down to a bomb plant. That's what a buy like this can often suggest. And they'll go forward into the connector position where you can often get a fast peek. And Flamey's waiting for it. Connections there, but oh my goodness, there's some support from Glaive. You can see Astralis playing two-man teams there between short B and connector. And they come out with a 5v4 and they go all the way passive. They're happy with that.
Yeah, and on Overpass, CTs will often start in aggressive positions and fall back, and it takes a while to clear out all these areas. And again, it looks like dupreeh might be playing a bait with Device. Well, he can choose to peek as well, he'll do that. Short exchange, but nothing doing just yet. Na'Vi still a man down. Simple and Flamey have P250, so they can go for the long-range engagements as well. If you've got a Glock, you've got about half the distance for a one-shot to the head and a pistol round. So you'll be looking for closer quarter engagements.
Just as you mentioned, a lot of timing burned. If a dupreeh goes for a information play, he's going to find one Na'Vi player, but how much does that tell him? It's not the whole picture just yet for Astralis, but they don't need it. They have the man advantage and make that 2. dupreeh very quick there onto Edward as it becomes a 5v3. Perhaps Na'Vi, their hand will be forced here. They have to make something happen. Simple with that 250. It's a very good gun, but he gets double peaked and it's Astralis absolutely ruining Na'Vi here. Headshots abound and just Zeus is left. Oh dear, Zeus gets one, P250 in action, but shut down 1-0 for Astralis.
Hopefully that round is not telling of how this map will go, because there was almost nothing in there for Na'Vi at all. They got beaten up like a whisked egg on the previous map, and maybe the same will happen here. It's down to them to try and change their future. But that's a very confident start on the CT side for Astralis. 1 kill. And again, if you lose a pistol, you at least want to do some damage. You need to get some frags in these next 2 rounds, assuming you lose both of them. We explained that story when Astralis were on the T side of the previous map, and now we look to Na'Vi to do the same.
And there it is, as you mentioned before, we see that very fast aggression. Make that double, actually. Glaive pushing in very quickly here to Suez as well, having a very fast and forward position. And this is brilliant, because if there is to be a fast B play, which can often happen in Na'Vi's position, Astralis immediately can sort of mess up that push and stagger the offense. But after that initial rush timing that they're trying to counter, they'll fall back out into safe positions on the bomb site. They know it won't be a rush now, and they've got some early information.
1 minute 10, and dupreeh admires the skin of his MP7. Not trying to be up top, expose that long position. And Na'Vi know that there's probably cover from further back, and indeed, Device is there if needed. dupreeh can use that smoke to suggest he might be lurking back. As you could see, there was a jump peak there. Again, going back to early Overpass, near the party area, there was a place where Edward would always have a jump peak. Never punished, doesn't do it anymore though. But it's always good to have somebody looking for habits, as Zonic might do for us. dupreeh now holding onto this long position. And again, this is round 2. We've only seen 1 frag for Na'Vi. They need to get more out of this round.
Yeah, it would definitely be nice. Start to whittle away the economy of Astralis as it grows. And Simple, of course, always the tip of their at the feet of dupreeh, as Simple's been spotted now and still looking for the kill. And how hard it is, how difficult Astralis are making it for Simple to have any peaks that are favourable. Quick flick comes in for the frag, but is that good enough? I guess we'll find out soon, as AKs will be coming up from Na'Vi in the next round.
1 frag per round isn't quite hitting the mark, it has to be said. And ooh, we're going to have the surprise buy from Na'Vi. This is not what you normally have in round number 3 after losing the pistol. Now, if they fail to get something done here, they're going to be on the back foot. But have a look at this. Electronics being given the AK, Flamey with a Galil. 2 Deagles and a P250 on Zeus. They've got some grenades. There's an early one, and maybe that's an early warning. Why is there a flashbang in round number 3, Device?
Absolutely, but dupreeh, he's not having too much of an issue. Does take a lot of damage, but gets the frag. And Oh, the flash timing there. Magis finishes it off. Electronics down, and that's what the AK out of play, and that tells Astralis everything they need to know. They're so proactive here.
The first two frags they got were the Galil and the AK with SMG. They're having a whale of a time, Astralis. Finally, though, a pistol will do something. Zipek's taken out for the second time. But again, he was in a very aggressive position. Don't expect to see an Astralis player there. Magis moved to the tunnel earlier on. And now they're starting to fight back, Na'Vi. Do Astralis have an idea as to where the bomb might be? That's a question.
And that's a very interesting model. That's really going to suggest that there may be a push on Monster. You can see Magis has a very good position to just delay if there is a push, but he doesn't have a position to get information to confirm if they are pushing Monster. So right now, Astralis don't have any idea as to what's going on. And Na'Vi have made a real round of this, and they've all got rifles now, which is a very welcome change for them as they start to encroach closer onto that A-bomb site. And it needs to go their way here. Dupree with 11 HP, the man to stop it perhaps.
They're running out of time. Also, this toilet sign, look for that to be covered in spray later on to make it harder for teams to line up their grenades. But 19 seconds, the time is running low for Na'Vi. They have position, or they had position, but Magis keeps getting fragged. He keeps out-dueling with that loaded SMG. Can go down? He refuses to go down. 9 seconds now. Simple has given himself a chance, but he's on the wrong side, surely. Indeed he is. Unbeknownst to him, Glaive outside the box to get the 3-0 for Astralis.
And it's so heartbreaking, isn't it? You just can't know. It's a gamble at that point. You don't know whether the CT will be rotating from B or, well, from which side from B. And unfortunately for Na'Vi, they won't make it work. And the surprise buy has not left them in the worst of territory. You know, they did a lot of damage in that round. Only one player surviving for Astralis, which hurts their economy a lot. And this round, Na'Vi could, you know, get some pistols out, and they will. They've got a Deagle P250. Or actually 3 P250s and 2 Deagles, so there is some damage potential here, and that's what they'll be looking for.
I see a variation of the bottle smoke on the T side of the monster tunnel, which makes it hard to rush in. If the smoke was on the other end, then the T's would have a chance to burst through it with flashbangs over the roof, but that far back gives the CTs a little more advantage. One flashbang and one smoke for Na'Vi. Bomb picked up by Zeus, and they're trying to force Device back, but we'll have to wait and see if he agrees. Dupree not aggressive up long this time. Astralis changing their formation. That previous round was good for Na'Vi in terms of frags, but of course, losing it was a gamble, put them back on eco, so Astralis can start to catch up once again.
And you never know with a buy like this. Minute left, and this setup, this bait setup in the offense could be quite powerful. But again, just takes one of those Deagles to connect, and everything can come toppling down here on the defense for Astralis, and they'll give it the respect. They'll fall back onto that bomb site. 40 seconds now, and Na'Vi's presence truly felt towards this A side of the map. And there's a peek here from Magis. You can see he's looking towards the door there, and that's the mid position. It's open, doesn't get the kill, but some damage in. There's smoke. Oh dear, that smoke's going to delay things. That makes life very hard for Na'Vi.
For those of you wondering why this round is taking so long, I think it's something the analysts have alluded to this week already, is that Na'Vi want Astralis to spend as much money as possible. Every edge has big value. That's why we're running a lockdown. And as you can see, Astralis have almost nothing left in terms of grenades to throw. So we won't see the bonus money until he planted the bomb. But at the very least, in a round where a frag was unlikely, they've made Astralis use almost all of their grenades.
Yeah, and that's like $1,200 or so for each player, so it is pretty valuable. And with always having the chance at getting some headshots in there as well. Certainly a well-played round, although they didn't get the kills. And we now move into AK-47s here for Na'Vi, and a full selection of utility to back that up. So it'll be fun to see what they decide to do with their first proper buy rounds. And there's no Warp out on the map just yet. An Overpass, that feels very strange, but Astralis keeping their economy in check.
It's really cool to see that somebody made a proper jump throw for that smoke to Monster Tunnel, because before there were all kinds of stupid lineups which took a lot longer to deploy the smoke grenade. So that really cuts the time down for the CTs, which is fantastic. Glaive is now holding the pop flash for the short B players. So off of your screen while long is being taken, you can see the line there, the pop flash for the two CTs. They're not going to go all the way into short B, but maybe they have the inkling that it is most likely safe, and perhaps that will send more players for the CT side back towards A.
I love how active Astralis have been. They've used a lot of flashbangs to get information, and here comes Dupree. Another information play. He's going to pop a lot. That's a beautiful flash. Dupree absolutely blind and now dead as well. Na'Vi make their presence known as they start to trigger the push onto the A-bomb site, forcing Device back with the utility, smoking off CT to prevent the rotation, but Glaive, he snuck his way forwards. Can he delay the push as he tosses in some grenades? He is isolated. He is so alone right now, trying to play this corner of the truck. Device gets in there, and there goes. What else can Device do? Well, not very much. Up to Magisk now.
All the damage he can do. Oh, is it going to get Kobe? Oh, it's close enough. 8 HP. No more damaging grenades. No more health for Magisk. Edward seals the first round for Na'Vi. Now, there were problems there for Astralis. When Dupree got taken up towards long, he was flashed, so at best, maybe he sees Edward. But I don't think they knew that 3 players were on long, so Magisk's rotation as the last man on B takes longer. There were some nice positions from Astralis on the site. You could see the trust between the teammates and the angles they were holding. However, Na'Vi would prove victorious. Now, Flamey's having a quick reconnect to the server. But indeed, the score is 4-1 in favour of Astralis, who have money to spend, or had.
And it's really cool to see that Na'Vi decided to go towards that A bomb site. Perhaps knowing that Astralis would choose to play the rifles, not upgrading to an AWP. That's expensive. You already have the rifles. No need to have that extra expense, because if they win the 5 rifle round, Astralis, they'll have more money in the long term. So banking on the Astralis making that play, Na'Vi think, you know what, those AKs, they're going to have massive value towards A. It's going to be easier for us because there's no AWP. And Astralis responded by trying to be very active towards the B side of the map, but still, those AKs very powerful. And James, it's very good to see that Na'Vi are winning some of these trade battles. That's going to feel very good after Nuke, which was quite a struggle.
Can they get some consecutive rounds together? Even that has been a problem, ignoring a pistol round. Device will be pulling out the AWP. Flamey is back on the server. The AKs are coming out for Na'Vi, and the unpause is here. All right, then let's see if Na'Vi can get that consecutive round on the board. So important for them. Hello, London! Oi, oi, Savaloy. I haven't heard a single oi, oi, Savaloy chant. You guys, you're shouting KFC, but you can't do oi, oi, Savaloy. What's going on? There we go. Thank you.
And back into it we go as a quick fast forward nade is thrown by Astralis. Again, as mentioned, keeping that aggression on and making sure that every position is a guess for Na'Vi. They've got to spend all that time, check every single corner. Meanwhile, they fall all the way back to Astralis, into their bomb site. And the ops in play now on Device, that can change everything. It's difficult to know where Device is going to be playing as well, because he can play pretty much every position on this map. He's very dynamic.
Yes, he is. He's not in battle sniper mode just yet. It is the 2-man setup towards long with 3 on B. But as time continues to tick, will we see the positions change for the CTs? Dupree hasn't been too shy to just hang out on long. So what does the information in Dupree's position mean for the rest of the team? If his position is compromised, obviously we'll see a big rotation, but will he look for something, or will they just continue to play out this bait setup? Glaive moving up now, so there is a change as time continues. They're putting 2 in this direction. I would have thought he might have covered towards Device's left, but no, they're really invested in long.
Maybe they have a read here as how Na'Vi might play around like this. And we've seen some pop flashes for Edward previously, but he is alone, and there is a huge blind spot. I wonder if Device will check it in time. We'll have to see if Na'Vi will push all the way up there. Smokes on the bomb site now, all over the place here, and they start to know. Edward spots Device. 2 players now turn towards him as Device has to finish. Push coming in from the just has to delay. Oh, that's beautiful there. Baiting Glaive into his spray, takes him down as simple now. Forces his way into the side. The fight still alive. No problem for Electro. Magisk is in town though, but not for very long. Zipex down as well. and that was beautiful. They found the one hole in the defense, and they exploited it fully.
Na'Vi now showing the power of the AK, excuse me, but congratulations to, or credit to Edward there. His job was purely to show presence on long and keep the players entertained. And I thought maybe Astralis have a hard read that Na'Vi are always going to take long if they're going to push A. They send a second player there. Edward is just constantly just being a nuisance. Then he pre-fires when the peak finally comes in. In the meantime, Device is in a 1 versus 4 from the toilets position. Smokes all over the place, and they get almost completely wiped, if not wipes. And they put on the pistol, so I guess they were wiped. 2-4 now, still in favour of Astralis, but the current situation is all Na'Vi.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point there, James. Just the mind games between the two teams. Both teams will have studied the hell out of each other. We'll be trying to bank on some of those tendencies, and if that really was the thinking from Na'Vi, that is the 500 IQ play, and what an important moment for it. Again, as you say, we're on the pistols for Astralis, and Simple will take down Zipex towards the B-bomb site as Na'Vi increase the amounts of map control that they have. Electronic will have some fun as well. Catches the back of Glaive, and this round is over surely very soon.
Statistics. 2 USPs remain. Potato guns in a round such as this. For Astralis. Just Device now. And there he goes as well. So Astralis had no money to spend in that round. It's a free round for Na'Vi. All the players survive. And an AWP has been deployed to Device. Right then, Na'Vi 1 round away from tying up the score. Again, it was a very dominant game of Nuke, but this is a pick of Na'Vi, and I'm sure they would love to have a strong T side.
Yeah, it already looks so good, or so much better, I should say. And there is the quick Molotov there from Electronic to delay any fast pushes on shorts. Zipex, meanwhile, flashed in, and that smoke is not perfect, but was it by design? I'm not sure. If it was thrown by the CTs, must have been. At least it's a deep one. And there's no T's down there. Teams will often put a lurker from the T side on that monster tunnel.
Yeah, you never quite know, and Electronic is respecting the edge of the smoke. If you start to creep close to the smoke, you will be more visible to your opponent in many situations, so he really does not want to do that. Astralis now have changed their setup. Very important to change your identity when you're defending here in Counter-Strike. Now they don't have that investment that they had on long in previous rounds. Dupree and Device in the toilet position, so maybe we will see more Battle Orpa style from Device in this position.
Teams will now move further and further forwards. Bomb still left towards T-spawn, let's not forget as well. Someone will have to rotate to pick that up. I think it will be Simple as he makes his way back through playgrounds. And we see that Magic might have a spot here. Once again, we also see the bait set up for Astralis in the toilets. Very strong, but Na'Vi, they're starting to rotate back towards the B position. And Astralis don't have any info on this just yet. This might surprise them if Na'Vi go in quickly. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case, because there comes the counter smoke. Will that delay things, or will Na'Vi just go straight through?
You can see Zipex not standing deep in the corner by the barrel, so he's not exposed to short. Now sometimes you might think no one's there, and somebody is there. Smokes on the side. Just holding off angles as well. Glaive in there. Trying to ring the bell, but the AK again. He's being planted. He can't quite find the mark, and now we've got Na'Vi moving into the situation. They're a man down, and that's dangerous as the trades come in. That's a nice shot there from Flamey. 2 more to find. Dupree by the sandbags, and Glaive still at the back of the site.
It's very difficult coming in. Hold the line, Flamey, can he do it? One more, but not the final one. Glaive saves it. Has time to collect the AWP and get the defuse in. Doesn't have a kit though, but there is plenty of time. And my goodness, that went down to the last man. So at the very least for Na'Vi, this is an opportunity. They did so much damage.
This is actually a giant problem for Astralis. The fact that only one person survived before they defuse that bomb. They have no money in the bag. Na'Vi are falling over stacks of cash at the moment. If Na'Vi win this round, they could take the lead, even though they're 2 rounds down at the moment. And Astralis know this. They'll take a tactical timeout to figure out what to expect of Na'Vi in this round and how to get around it. Big opportunity for Na'Vi.
It's so encouraging to see after that first map. Hope restored for Na'Vi. Astralis must make this one count.
Cheers!
And 10 seconds, and we're back into this one. James, Astralis, are we going to see something new from them? They are very good at the CT side aggression that is so characteristic, so strong on a map like Overpass. Will it be towards the B side, the A side? There's so many different options and ways to do it, and it could be the mix-up that Astralis need in this moment, because they cannot concede this round, otherwise they are broken.
Smoke down outside Monster as per usual. Often you'll find a T side lurking towards B with just the one player, but Na'Vi have three. Edward is moving over as well as you. So again, to me, this is indicative of the opportunity they know is ahead of them. They want to brute force into the B bomb site, use and abuse that numbers advantage, but Astralis see no presence around the map as well. They've got Dupree and Connector, and they've got 4 people focusing on the B bomb site. Astralis are expectant. This is going to be a war.
Yeah, not too much utility left here for Astralis, but it may not matter because indeed Na'Vi just go up now. Oh dear, Zepex goes down straight. Na'Vi look to the flank, but Dupree stands strong and he's going to keep himself alive. It won't matter if Na'Vi can take the bomb site. Looking to see what he can do. The transfer not good enough now. It comes down to simple. He won't have any health left alive, and that's a great headshot from him. 45 seconds to play with. He has the bomb. This can still go so many ways. He can still go to A.
Oh, Zeus has got a free kill here. He's got a free kill unless the other CT goes back to the balcony, but he's got to be really careful about Glaive's position. He's got to take it close, and he's got to do it before they realize that nobody is on A. If that rotation comes back in, they could lose this opportunity. There's a quite going for the spray, but Glaive's just hiding, looks up, and he's taken out. Device there with the AWP. He has an angle for the site. You can plant it by the pillar, however, so there is a chance for the bomb to go down. You see it get thrown over. He's spotted. No player is short. Oh, there it is. The timing brutal for Device, but he can go for the wallbang. Zeus gets to be out of the site. He may have no idea. He may think he's still there. Does he go for this? Look of money on Astralis. It was a close one, but it looks like Na'Vi has played a master stroke, and you can see Zeus continuing to push. Device has got no idea. Zeus will chase, and Simple will go for the flank, I'm sure. He's got to get there before Device goes towards long. Oh, and he's missed it. 10 HP versus an AWP. That's going to be something. Maybe he survives. Oh, there's a nice play. Does Device go for the cross? He does. He's full health, and I think he's escaped. He must finish his AWP.
Oh my god, how is he alive? Device does not know how close he was to dying there. Oh my goodness, that, as you said, that AWP is really crucial. However, Na'Vi might be able to find the exact type of round to negate it and just perhaps bypass it entirely. You'll have to see what their read is on this situation, because now knowing the Device has an AWP, that is a big weapon to play around. Astralis can try to throw in some cheeky aggression with some grenades, and that can cause big problems in a round such as this, which otherwise, had he lost the AWP, might be free. And we'll see that that is the case. Astralis buy up here, sending Device aggressively towards the fountain. And when I say buy up, it just means some pistols and some supporting grenades.
They're spending a lot of money, though, compared to what they had. We saw on Nuke, these were very dangerous rounds, although Overpass not quite Nuke, but there's still loads of close corners where they can spam these CZs. And they can play crossfires quicker than you can communicate the issue. Quicker than you can react, adjust. 2 HEs, Zepex and Glaive, they were holding them for a second, but it seems they've gone back to their guns. Now, keep an eye on those grenades. Dupree, absolutely perfect from him. Just as Monster has questions asked of it, asked through it.
Big save coming in there from Flamey, and Na'Vi stand 5 strong as they push in, but Zepex sees his pushes forward, but it looks like the coordination coming in is fantastic for Na'Vi so far, and they will survive with most players on the way into the bomb site. The Device is quite the problem, isn't he? Doing some significant damage to the remainder of Na'Vi. Edwin and Electronic very weak, but how do you do this? 1v3 with an AWP. It's not an easy one.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why he's not running away, he's not necessarily going for it. He's hiding in plain sight with the position he has. It's strong for 1 versus 1. If he takes a shot, he can fall back, take another one. He's got full health, so he should survive the bomb explosion. So important again that they hold on to this AWP, but will Na'Vi read that he's here? You can see that Zeus is on the high ground. Doesn't have 10 HP this time, Zeus. But Device, he knows upstairs could be compromised. Looks like he's going to go to Graffiti instead, which means that he should probably... But I don't think Zeus will get there every time. And there we go. The score now, 5-5. And Na'Vi still have many advantages. Astralis spent little that they had, so it's another eco round with an AWP for Astralis.
And again, that's so awesome to see from Na'Vi's perspective after having that struggle of a map one and just seeing it be the case that it was impossible for them to win these T rounds with their 4-buys. And this time it's quite a different story as they look confident up against Astralis, not only individually but as a team, and also with the calls from the in-game leader, Mr. Zeus. They have been good so far and got to be so careful in rounds such as this. We'll see what their approach is. Looking at a default so far, just keeping things pretty steady here. A quick pop flash over sewers for Electronic to get some information. Where is Device? Na'Vi may find out sooner and not in the way that they want than later if we see Device go for this peak, but it's going to fall back onto the B-bomb site. Astralis gamble stacking B, and they are right so far at least.
This has been favoured from Na'Vi of late. However, this time they have Edward going for information. He's just moving to the long position at the moment. Are we going to see a 3-man boost from Astralis? Look at where they're going. Information seeking, but Device is not one of these players. There's 2. Up we go, and there's number 3. Hello, Zeus. Does he see the plane to his left? I'm not sure if he did. Na'Vi don't expect this. The problem is, even without kill, this is a lot of information. Ding dong, and that's Zeus taken out. Still don't think they saw Electronic, however, but he is... Or is he? No, he's not. In the meantime, almost on the A side. Electronic pushes in. Tries to play, has the bomb. They haven't seen the bomb yet, Astralis. Now they know Edward is on A. Matt is still on the B bomb site. Which way do they go? He's got an AK as well. This could be brutal.
Do they have any idea? Still the bomb will be off there. Simple in the smoke. What can he do? The AK's being spotted now. Mantis falls back as the teammate forwards. Simple caught off guard. That's the AWP down. And this is very problematic now. There is not a kill. Go for the fast pushes. And the 1-for-1 is fantastic for Astralis. They're the AWP to hold on to this. Oh, and there's the pink. It's strong from Device as Astralis take a very unexpected round and they pick up a second AWP for their troubles.
That was not the round they were supposed to win. Astralis were in the bin. They were in the bin. But they managed to climb out and put Na'Vi in that position for a brief time. But again, Na'Vi have so much money. Astralis didn't survive with the numbers. Yes, they've got 2 AWPs, but there's still opportunity for Na'Vi to even aim for a good 9 rounds here in this half. But they cannot afford too many mistakes like that. That was crisp like potato chip from Device. And now we will see if Dupree can do the same.
Yeah, he's been quite amazing with his aggressive plays. Looking forward to seeing how that pans out for him. Device looking for the typical fountain peak here with the AWP, and those flashes will go behind. Ooh, that was a close one. Teasing and fragging Simple. And we'll see. Quickly take connector, Astralis information. We get some utility exchanged as Na'Vi still work on early map control. And Device rotating with that AWP, it seems. Reinforcing that B-bomb site. Astralis perhaps, I mean, they know it. Na'Vi have had a lot of success hitting this B-bomb site. And they reckon it's going to be another peak.
Don't think that one was supposed to go there. But I like the idea. Na'Vi starting passive towards A, and Device is starting to creep. Electronic now the lone lurker around the B area. Now, will Astralis have a false sense of security, perhaps? Electronic looking for a place to jump off the sandbags and one-tap them. That would be a good denial of information. Still 3 players on B. They know Na'Vi like to take it slow in most cases, at least towards the A site. Now Glaive is starting to move up long. How far will he go, though?
A moment of silence here as Navi begin to creep towards A once again. Bond still towards B, and there is 25 seconds left in the round. Astralis starting to get antsy here. Surely Navi must be going somewhere, and they have to commit into a bomb site, and it's got to be B at this point. Bomb on Monster. It will be dropped by Simple as he pushes forwards. The entry fragger there with that AK-47 device. He misses the flick, but Simple. And that's Navi on the way in. They have to. Can they find their way onto a plot? I think it's going to be close, but no, and it's denied. And there's no chance here in the 1v3 Electronic as Astralis close it down.
So down to the wire for Navi. They had a 5-on-5 on the B bomb site. Everybody had pretty much rotated there for Astralis. Astralis had got too much information. Not enough cover, no smokes on the site, nowhere really safe to plant the bomb. Zipex with the hero play once again, and that's why you watch him. All those opportunities for Navi that we spoke about, monetary issues for Astralis starting to slip away as we move into the last 3 rounds of the first half. 7-5 in favor of Astralis. Tactical timeout for Navi at the moment. There's still money to buy, but they can't make it so easy for Astralis in terms of having all of their players on one site.
This is definitely a tough situation for Navi. That momentum switching definitely now. Very troubling last few rounds, and you start to wonder if that really incredible play with the pistols and all the USPs and the AWP from with that initial frag from Magisk, because that round from Astralis was played so brilliantly, if that could be the moment that really switched the momentum, because it seems like it could be the case right now in Navi. Back on the AK-47s, that double orb is still persisting here for Astralis, of course, and they still have so much left in their playbook, James. This is worrying for Navi. Oh, close.
3 players starting towards B for Navi. That's very telling. Again, we wonder. Manages to avoid I know there was one for him as well. Meeting of the minds from Navi and Astralis. And the CTs get off better for a time. But it will favour Navi, especially with so much time on the clock. It's going to be harder for Astralis to go for that information, but they're not shy of a jump peek. They're just constantly showing presence to CTs towards short B. They're telling Navi, we know where you are, and we are expectant, and what are you going to do about that?
And they got some confidence, that's for sure. They can go and take some risks if they want to and try to surprise Navi, because they've been pretty passive, generally speaking, around these positions. Edward is the weakest player. He's asking questions towards that A bomb site, trying to get some information for Navi and burning that time, using that time to try to make the round more secure, as you mentioned, James. And that bomb is still more moving towards that B bomb site as Device gets the pick towards A. And now Edward, my goodness, this could be a huge play. Oh, catches a rotation. Oh, takes a flash in the face. But now his teammates can go into that B bomb site, and it's clear, James. They have no idea, Astralis.
Yeah, Glaive is in short B though. He's sooner rather than later. That's a massive frag for Edward. He's only got 14 HP. Now what can Glaive do? Device is miles away from the site, having to rotate away from A, down the long position. And Glaive is very close to the smoke. Can he really afford to wait for Device? Glaive is the man in this situation. Wondering what else could be going on, but it seems that Astralis are thinking better of it, and they will hold on to these 2 weapons. Device with 4650 in the bank, they can buy around what they have, so they have chosen the conservative route, and we are looking at round number 6 for Navi.
Wow, what an amazing round. If you consider that, as you mentioned, 14 HP on Edward, he somehow finds that blind spot, able to push all the way, finds the key rotation. Absolutely brilliant. Navi back in it when he thought things were looking very grim. They pick up a very key round. And the money for Astralis still looking pretty decent, so they're not in too much trouble as we move in towards the ending rounds of this first half. The flash just connecting for Edward for a little bit more damage, but it didn't seem to matter. And it's good to see Edward making some key plays there. But this could be brutal. If Navi are to lose this one, they are pretty screwed for the following round. But it's good to see the Simples on the AWP here on the T side, James.
Yeah, I think that can be said for both these teams because there's not much cash in the bank. So a 9-6 or an 8-7. Which one are we going to see? Edward in the playground. Too big for the swing, of course. Glaven connector, Device moving back from the toilet position. Many different angles he can take there. There's a big flashbang from Zeus. But of course, there's no reaction from the CTs because they are further back. 2 CTs in the B bomb site, but Dupree will be the rotation man. The balloons point to Na'Vi.
Ooh.
But nobody quite knows where they are.
And Device, you know, just took a flash there because there was no peek. Device gets to hold the angle still. Charlotte surely asking some questions. The rotation comes in. Device suspicious now, and that's one click of the finger, and Na'Vi could be in some trouble because they are burning a lot of time. Control. They start to creep up along, and Glaive picks up the kill onto Zeus. Astralis is surely starting to put the pieces of the picture together as to what Na'Vi are doing.
Have a look at Glaive though. He is rotating towards the person who's just picked up the bomb, but he might not be able to catch him in time. Of course, he doesn't know the bomb is there, and indeed, Na'Vi now running from a long position. Edward avoiding flashbang, but there's time for the CCs to rotate now. And being contained in that position. Dupree still at the front of the site, which means that Device is baiting. Even if he goes down, there are huge problems for Na'Vi, especially with this time on the clock.
Someone's got to come crash. I don't know who it's going to be. Fantastic shot. Not quite the second, but Dupree's even better. Flamey locked down for Glaive to finish off. And Astralis picking up another round. Na'Vi, they had opportunities, but they were suffocated.
That flank from Glaive through connector as well. Didn't catch the bomb early, but finished off the round late for Astralis. So maybe it is going to be a 9-6. No plant means even less money for Na'Vi than they otherwise may have. So we're going to have Astralis with a lead at half-time, already 1-0 up in this best-of-3 series.
Na'Vi, can they get number 7? It's a couple pistols and a couple AKs and a bag full of grenades here to make it happen. It's going to be very difficult. Astralis have been so disciplined so far. Na'Vi starts to push towards the B positions here. We see Electronic being the man to push Suez by himself. And no spot just yet. Manages a slightly forward position, very safe. As a teammate for support if required. Na'Vi, they've had much success towards that B bomb site, at least in opening it up, and it might be what can give them that 7th round. But Astralis definitely feeling it. They've got 3 players on B.
Na'Vi once again focusing on that B bomb site. The flash behind Zipek so we can peek Monster. Although, well, I guess they know that there's no money for an AWP in this round. Otherwise, the player far back would be able to take a shot anyway. Would be blinded for the briefest of seconds. Hear the warning bell, the train is on the way. Looking for in that short position, Magic's good for 1. But Flamey will enact revenge. The bomb has not been spotted for Astralis just yet, and Dupree will stay close to connector on the high ground. But again, there are 3 CTs for Astralis.
Yeah, they have that information, but you can shoot your way out of the situation, and maybe that's not the Na'Vi, but Dupree, the timely flank comes in, that's massive. That's the ground as Dupree stands tall by connector, and the round goes to Astralis. 9 for them at the end of the first half, and that's 6 for Na'Vi. Na'Vi did a good job, though, in getting 6. They got the pistol, let's not forget.
Indeed. Dupree peeled them like the flayed man on that short B position. And now we've got Astralis moving to the T side. So let's see, can Na'Vi take this to a 3rd map? First, they've got to catch up. They have to win this pistol. Otherwise, we may be looking at a 12-6 scoreline, and that would be disastrous. Some fans may feel like this major's already been won, but there's plenty more to fight for.
Certainly, and you know, as Simple stated previously, at the New Legend stage for Na'Vi, it's when it gets emotional. That's when it gets intense for them. That's when they get big on the stage. Let's hear it for Na'Vi. Let's give them some energy, London.
4 players for Astralis moving towards that B. I think there's a boost here for the CTs. Oh my days! A double ding straight in the face. He will need reconstruction for that one, and a push continues for Astralis. Rush B, no grenades, no stops, leaving Zeus and Electronic. And now just the latter, wondering what on earth has happened. The players on B have been deleted.
My God, it's going to have to be the hardest way for Na'Vi. The hardest part, the part of most resistance. I suppose that's how it's always going to be against Astralis. They tidy it up at the end. No one died for Astralis. That's pretty clean.
Boy, being in a boost position and getting shot in the face twice from 2 with a Glock. Bursting the watermelon.
It's not fair, James.
Navi will be very thirsty indeed. They've lost the pistol round. Worst case scenario, defending after losing the first pistol, losing the second one. Already 9-6 down. 12-6 looking very, very likely. Starting your buy round with half the score of your opponent when they're playing for the major. Not getting any better, is it? Taken out of the sky is Edward.
Seems like nothing can quite go Navi's way at the moment. But pistols in hand, they look to stand strong on the B-bomb side as Astralis start to weigh it up, start to coordinate things, but maybe a timely boost. Oh, no, it's missed. Into the water as Flamey is so incredibly blind, not much he can do. Everyone is following around Electronic. He gets a quick headshot here. They line up, he gets another dig. Picks up a Mac 10, through onto Zipex. Surely not. Two more players to go here for Electronic. As you get with the free fights. Oh no, he runs out of balls. Can you believe it?
What was that execute from Astralis? There were flames, they turned all the lights on, nobody could see anything, but Electronic still found a way to make it close, but not close enough. Look at the adjustment. Heinous stuff. He did well to take it that far, but no. 11-6, and now they have the USPs. One P50 on to use the flashbang on Electronic, but we're looking at a 12-6 scoreline, Dan.
We are definitely, again, it's just so difficult for Navi, isn't it?
It's difficult for everybody else who isn't Astralis in Counter-Strike.
That is very true. That is very true. Now, of course, if we can see Simple truly activated as well. That's something that we're waiting for. You know, perhaps when Navi can get some momentum on this CT side, he can get an AWP in his hands. He can start having some freedom, the run of the map, build up that confidence, start showing us the quality we know that he has. Navi do play proactive with what they have, taking over the Suez position, but for Astralis, they know how to deal with pretty much any situation in the anti-eco.
The Navi players on a death march from the B-bomb site. And the gods will show them mercy. Mercy of the Vector's AK-47, although Simple may have something to say about that. That was inevitable. Edward will ring the bell, but we're looking at 12-6 Astralis. Ultimately, that is the situation.
Absolutely, but there is perhaps a silver lining to this round. You know, as we've seen, Edward's managed to find himself an AK-47. They can try to protect that position on the map, and there is little incentive for Astralis to really go and hunt down Navi. So we may get a gentleman's agreement when that AK just survives for Navi, and that's something at the very least, James. Something for Navi to keep hold of.
If they get there. But psychological warfare says hunt, and Magic's boy is looking for these players. Electronic and Edward running past his position. You can see him directing his sound so he can figure out where they're going. And Glaive is here to welcome them. He can get some bonus money for some kills with this UMP. And of course they will want to take the AK away. Edward in the playground, and there goes the AK. An upgrade for Glaive, and Zeus doesn't have much to smile about with 18 HP and a P250 and half the score of Astralis.
I guess I was wrong, James. No gentleman's agreement. No gentleman in the grand finals of a major, of course. Free edge.
No gentleman here, just mans on road.
All the man in.
5-man on road for Astralis.
Indeed. And they hit 12 on the scoreboard now, and they are 4 rounds, 4 wins away from a very important trophy to perhaps really cement this Astralis era that we're seeing.
And you know how badly Simple wants that trophy. He is not done with this match just yet. Not done at all. 12-6. Astralis moving around. An exchange of grenades. Speaking of which, how deep is the grenade book of Astralis? It's looking like a 3-part trilogy with the largest of novels. Edward and Zeus getting aggressive towards short B now. Looking to take some real estate. It is very important for the CTs if they can take that area. Although they don't want to overextend, so holding the angle will be enough for now.
Astralis once again crossing the T's, dotting the I's. Don't want to fall into any setups that Na'Vi have lying in wait. So they send out the grenades to deal with that, cover space, and also cover their tracks. Make it hard for Na'Vi to know what they are doing. And you can see some questions being asked of Simple in the bathrooms, but you'll find absolutely nothing behind that smoke. That cover of smoke preventing Simple from seeing anything is the window that Astralis start to rotate towards B. And again, Na'Vi none the wiser, but they do have 3 there to defend.
Very good timing from Edward, but dying surely wasn't part of the plan, and that may Astralis. Simple with a flank now. One player taking grenades, but does he fight to the death here? Being a nuisance is Simple. They know they can't really press on with his presence there. Manages to get a flashbang. Still 2 people stuck in the short B position. Look at the time on the clock. 17 seconds. The right timing. Matters walking. It will be enough. There are 3 CCs on the clock. 10 seconds to go down. The get wiped out. Hold on a second. 1-on-1 with 7 seconds left, and Device somehow takes the round. Blood needed.
Oh my goodness, again, just on a knife's edge, these rounds, and
look at him, he's loving it. Sonic is very happy with this.
Big man in the back there with all the energy. And we're seeing so much energy from Astralis, and you can see Simple pushing out on that smoke, and he kind of has to do it and just trust in his teammates that they can actually win some battles on that B-bomb side, but just 1 frag shy of making the round theirs, and it's 3 more for Astralis to take the trophy as Na'Vi's economy is ruined, and they need to save. They effectively need to let Astralis get to 14 James before they can even have a fight of this one.
How on earth did they pull a round win out of that bag? That was quite something. Right then. Oh, the situation could hardly be worse for Na'Vi. They're fighting with pots and pans. With Astralis on 13 rounds. Look at this situation. This absolutely sucks for Na'Vi. Astralis running a clinic from team to team to team in this major. Simple towards long. Not with an AWP, but with a scout. 4 players towards Na'Vi. They're asking a lot of him with that weapon. And Astralis, they know the shortcomings in the situation for Na'Vi. They know the problems, and they will start slow. They will make it long and painful.
So much tension. Edward taking a forward position, always good for the CTs. Again, to try to complete more of the puzzle, to try to solve what he's doing. More noise made as we get map control beginning to be fleshed out here for Astralis, but they will likely need to retake this Suez position, and maybe, just maybe, Edward can show something special. But there's a still gets it done, does Edward? Falls down, more damage done. Is it enough though for Electronic to hold on?
43 seconds. The bomb needs to be collected. It looks like Zipex is rotating to grab it, and Device is going to have a look and see what's going on towards A. So I don't think they're quite committed to B just yet, Astralis. Will this be a boost in the smoke? Oh, he's moved at the wrong time, and that has conceded 1 position of 3 players. Now Astralis know 1 person is short B. Maybe they're looking for information. A reaction though from Astralis. Well, there's one. Simple taken out towards long A.
That's going to tag onto Device though, and gets into a forward position, finds Device. More players to go though, the bomb quickly makes its way back towards B. Should have enough time here to get that plant down. 3.5 seconds is all you need, and well, Zipex will have 3 seconds to spare. It ain't no thang for Astralis as they hold on to the 3 versus 2, and Na'Vi have some big choices to make here. 2 guns to save, or 2 guns to lose, and it looks like they'll make the decision to just hold off here, and there's not really too much they can do. There's no kit anyway, so can they hold on to these guns? It would make so much difference if they could.
What a dire situation for Na'Vi. Performed well moving into this final, but against Astralis, they're making every opponent look like they're playing schoolboy football. 14 for Astralis. They are 2 rounds away from winning this major. A team always has big support in London. We've seen topless family members at previous ECS finals. 2 rounds away. So far ahead of their opponents. But the CTs are back on the bye. We got Mexican waves in London. 2 rounds away. Simple with the AWP. Hasn't been much of anything in this series so far. Will it be a difference now for Na'Vi? It has to be now.
It has to be now. You're absolutely correct. He needs to come online and moves forward. Oh, they spot him. Simple down to 18 points of health. The electronic snaps. It is blind, so is Dupree, but he still makes it work somehow. Na'Vi in a man advantage. Very chaotic situation for both sides, as Astralis now have over a minute to play a 3 versus 4, but Na'Vi have no utility here.
They've got some flashbangs, however, but we'll see if they how much they mean. Now Zipex is in the short B position, and he may have heard Edward moving towards Monster, so there may be a warning that someone is probably on Astralis' right-hand side, but what can you do with it? Device lining up, but that's a bomb loss. That means rotation time. It's used on the flank, Simple making his way in. No one's seen just yet. There's Device, there goes Device, and it's versus 3, and he won't last long either. Na'Vi win a much-needed round, but it's only good for half the score of Astralis.
You can see the booth of Na'Vi. They look to be keeping some good spirits here. They look to be calm in this desperate situation. Good round here from Edward to finish things off, and that was just ridiculous. So the way that the flashes were exchanged and the duels at the beginning of that round, that is certainly not a consistent way that Na'Vi can look to win some of these rounds, but they may look to change things here. Picking up the second AWP onto Flamey as Simple goes aggressive. Once again, Simple put into play with this AWP. Can he deliver for Na'Vi? They need it most desperately now, and nice nade line up there from Edward. And Na'Vi go aggressive. Oh, a miss there from Simple. He's got to be hitting those, James.
It can be hard to get out of this position. You can see, oh no, Dupree's going towards long instead, but it is very precarious for a sniper to move out of connector and into toilets, or anyone really. But they will escape, and they're having an investment towards long now, Electronic and Simple, and Dupree may be looking for information soon. Is Simple ready for the flick? Because Dupree might be jumping up soon. Oh, the timing won't favour him. Dupree in the toilets now, and Electronic is close long. Magisk and Zipex in connector. Edward on short B. So there is some information seeking here for Na'Vi, but how will it change as this clock continues to tick?
50 seconds, and Astralis begin to set themselves up for a push into this A site, where Simple waits. Can he make good of that previous miss? Can he start getting some numbers on the board here as the grenades start to fly in to make his life impossible? Astralis cut off the front of the site, but it won't matter for Simple. Pushing off on the extremity there towards the long position. He gets some hot shots through the smoke. It's Zeus to keep the blind taken down. Simple needs to hold here, but Electronic is reliable. Pushes forwards. They know he's there. In comes the incendiaries. Oh, the double! Surely the double, but no, denied by Glaive. It's 2 here for Na'Vi, and it gets worse there for Astralis. Flamey with an incredible shot.
Glaive now alone in the 1 versus 2, lining up a flashbang. He's just missing the mark there. There's some fire coming back. The bombs are being defused. He has no idea. There is the frag as well for Na'Vi. So tough. The flashbangs are so on point. Every single round. It's so hard to even see anyone to shoot them in this match. But here we are. Na'Vi now with round number 8. And they've put Astralis into territory which is almost unfamiliar to them. It's Eco Town maybe for Astralis. Nice shot from Flamey, but I mean, are we seeing nerves from Na'Vi? I think most of the time Edward gets a 2-man spray down there in the toilet position, and then maybe that could have been enough to lose in the round, but here they are.
Absolutely, and we don't see Simple as much, but we're seeing Electronic, we're seeing Flamey coming to life. Edward doing the damage he needs to do, and push. Astralis to change the pace. Are Na'Vi ready? Another one from Flamey. He's going to go down, but he's done a good job. 3 versus 2, the CZs run amok on the close down the position. Zipex with a missed shot, still somehow alive, but oh my goodness, it's looking quite difficult now, but finally Na'Vi keeps it, and they were ready. They were ready for that switch of pace. That could have been their end, but they made it perhaps their beginning.
These sprays are all over the place. I really feel like Na'Vi are feeling the pressure. They are fighting for their lives in this major. Again, Astralis just 2 rounds away from winning the whole thing. And even a round just like this can be enough to really get them even closer to it.
Wow.
But Na'Vi survive for now. They close the deficit to 5 rounds. But Astralis are on the bye once more. Dupree on a Galil to allow him to, well, maybe you had to. Some grenades. Didn't have enough for the AK either way. But the rest are well equipped enough. Astralis, so well studied in Counter-Strike in general, as individuals, as teams, on their opponents. 2 rounds away from the major.
And Na'Vi said they like it when it gets emotional. That's when they play their best CS, and it can't be any more emotional than it is now. Maybe, just maybe, Electronic and Flamey and their performances have lifted some pressure, at least off the shoulders of Simple. And we could see Na'Vi come to life. They are in position. They just must win this round to break that money of Astralis. Astralis start to move towards that A-bomb site. And Na'Vi start to feel their presence. Simple at the forefront here. Can he catch someone rotating in? Yes, he can! And there's Simple.
That's an example of why that's such a strong position for a sniper. Can catch somebody coming out of the toilets, around the toilets, or in and out of connector. If you've got a skill, you can deliver. 5 versus 4. So youth will join the players in the B-bomb site. They are expectant. All of Astralis outside now. Defiance Magis looking to line up grenades, it seems. Glaive in the bomb. All of the 5 players more or less here for Na'Vi, and here comes the Bedlam once again.
Na'Vi know so telegraph with that push from Electronic. Looks like his way out. Close range orb, only good for Flamey is 15 seconds left to pop the bomb. Zipex finds an incredible shot there through the smoke, and now things start to get very desperate for Na'Vi. Not like this. Electronic is going to have to fall back. And James, they knew everything. Electronic had that flank on the A-long position. They knew the B push was coming, and they still can't do anything against it.
Electronic, is he going to go for this? He's rotating all the way around. If he rotated towards short, it would be completely telegraphed. But I guess he's not. Look at the money for Na'Vi. This is such a bad situation. Astralis moving to match 2 championship points. And they have 1 rifle maybe going into the next round. Is there anyone that can stop Astralis? I think that's a question you have to start asking yourself.
Can't even save the last gun.
The awareness, do you know why he jumped there? He jumped in case somebody's holding an angle in that completely random spot, so he doesn't get headshot. He bounces off the ceiling immediately, sends the guys tracking up, and takes him out. It's ridiculous.
They take everything away, Astralis. You can't even save 1 rifle to try to have any glimmer of hope in preventing that 16-9. Na'Vi will take a timeout, and this better be one very special timeout. We've seen it before. You know, we have that moment where there was that timeout back when Zeus was on Gambit, and we saw that speech that roused the players and allowed them to bring it back. It needs to be one hell of a speech here for Na'Vi to bring them back into this one. Here at the FACEIT London Major.
15-9. If Na'Vi are going to do it, it's going to be the hard way. 2 MP9s and 3 pistols. The odd grenade here and there. And this is what they have to defend with. This could be the last round of this major. London makes a noise. Astralis with all the tools. Destiny's in their hands now.
And there it is, Magis with the first spot there. Sees that presence on connector. Na'Vi very aggressive, hyper-aggressive towards that position with those close combat weapons. These MP9s as mentioned. And Astralis really playing it safe there. They're expecting the aggression now that they spotted that push there in connector, and they start to play it slow through the playground's position. Astralis are making so sure that they do not get caught off guard here, that they can just close this with the weapon advantage that they have right now in this round. Na'Vi's
control of connector could end up being very important, but they don't have information towards A. They're kind of trapped there. So it can be their friend, but also become their enemy. And Astralis seem very expectant. Oh, he connects up from the top and the bottom at the same time. It's a really nice way to approach it. Look at the flashbang just in case, running out of bullets with a pre-fire. Look at how efficient this team are. They will give you no edge to capitalize on, nothing to exploit. They are merciless.
And Astralis know as well that, okay, maybe they'll have to run the time down a lot, but if they can at least trade out, even if it's a 3 versus 4 in the favor of Na'Vi, at least they create more space on the map, so they have more to work with. And there's 20 seconds here. Maybe they're cutting this too fine. We have some grenades towards that A-bomb site, but here comes the fast rotation. There's going to be very little time when they come into this B-bomb site, but there's nobody there to stop the plant surely. Edwards might make a quick run at this, but if he dies for nothing, it's a 2 versus 4, and he will die for nothing. Glaive makes sure of that.
Simple and flamey. That's all that's left between Astralis and the Major. Simple on the high ground with the CZ, and surely he's going to get taken out. Oh, there's a gift. He can pick up an A. There's no kit though. They've got to go fast. Simple, the second one. They have to keep going. They've got to charge forward. He misses the jump. Flamey now with the 550. He's baiting. The player on short B is red. Touching the bomb. Are they going to peek? And there is it. It's just out of Flamey. It's not going to happen. Astralis have won the FACEIT London Major.